Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the iConis podcast. I go by the name of DJ Rod C. As you can see, we got someone right there. Who is that? Shh. Listen, we got today's special. We're going to be talking about the Superior Spider-Man.
Roll the credits!
Roll the credits, indeed.
Gotta do it. Sweet, buzz, love it. Here we go. Hey everyone, thank you once again for tuning into the iConis podcast. Remember, don't let the show be a secret. Like, subscribe, and share. Let your friends know about the show, and so on and so on and so on. Put your notifications on. This is part of a new series we started of what we read, and what you should be reading. So we're not talking about books. Don't come and ask us how much a book is worth. Don't ask us if it's going to be a collector's item in the future. None of that stuff. It's all on you. Do your due diligence. This is a series talking about the storylines, right? So not the worth of the book, but the worth of the story. Here we go. We're talking about the one and only Superior
Spider-Man. Okay.
That's right. It's a Spider-Man shirt with a little Spider-Man in it. Yeah, thank you, Walmart. Okay, no endorsements. All right, I'm just saying. All right, okay. So I'm very happy. I'll say this real quick. Remember, if you need any digital stuff done, you got to reach out to the one and only Mr.
JBird Digital Art.
Mr. Jason Reese, JBird Digital Arts. You reach out to him. You tell him you heard about him on the iConis podcast. He'll give you a discount on the work. Right? Second shout out, our brother from another mother, Larry Reckless-Otto, who's doing all the shorts, and he joins us also on this podcast. So check out his page on obscure, underrated, and comic book characters. There we go. You see it right here. Check out that Facebook page. Respect the rules. Jump on board. Have some fun. You'll see us there posting stuff and interacting. Okay. Then you can find me where? The one and only Barry3D.com. You can find me, see where I'm posting next, and going to be doing my comedy stuff and all that stuff there to be blase. Rod, where we can find you?
Easy enough. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C, MRRODC. And from there, you can panel and find me out, twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. I'm there. We'll have fun. Let's go.
Right on. And two more real quick. This is all about checking out your local comic book stores, right? Your LCS. So if you want to, you can go to Wild Comics out in Kitchener. That's one of the ones we'd like to go to. And of course, Check Swings down here in Montreal on the South Shore in Brossard, right? If you check them out too, you let those guys know that you heard about them on the iConis podcast. Call them and said hi. They will hook you up and let you and have anything you need on there, from sports cards to, comic book memorabilia, old, new, whatever case be. Check out the dollar bins. Here we go. Rod brought this story to me about the one and only
Superior Spider-Man.
Superior Spider-Man. Now, here's the thing. As comic book fans, you can't read every comic book that is out there. And sometimes some of us deviate, like me. And I might go more indie. I might be on DC. I might be on Marvel. I'm Image, Wildstorm, whatever comic book, I'll read it. But sometimes you can't read everything because we're grown men and we all have families and we have lives and we got jobs to do because none of us are rich yet. Please support the podcast. So while I was reading a bunch of other stories like Savage Dragon and so forth like that, and going always back to my feel-good book, which is Micronauts issues 1 to 12. You heard me talk about it on the podcast. There we go. Rod came to me and brought to me Superior Spider-Man. And he's like, Barry, sorry, we don't talk that way. He says, guys, you need to read this. Guys, you don't know what happened in this book. Guys, you're missing out. I'm late to the party. I admit it. I read it.
Mind blowing.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Yes. I was singing Drowning Pool. Get with it. All right. Right. Before we go into some of the facts and all that, what brought you to Superior Spider-Man? This is what I want to know. How'd you find it about it?
Again, it was a listing and someone kind of posted about Superior Spider-Man, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it. But two characters that's on there, Dr. Octavius, and Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and how they were entwined in a particular storyline. And I was like, okay, it's the normal kind of, in and out. Oct does something wrong. Spidey comes in. You're doing it. Get back out there, behave yourself kind of scenario. No, this is different. And all it is, we'll get into it, is let's just say there's a little body snatching type of events going on in here. What?
Freaky
What
Friday.
is that? That makes no sense. Give it time. And that's basically what pulled me. I said, okay, let me see what these guys are talking about. And
Right.
sure enough, the storyline was tight. It was on point. I liked. There's so many small little factors on it. We'll get into it, but I mean the way having it from a different perspective is one of the things that intrigued me on it. How would a character be through another person's eyes? And to me, that was the basis of it, and that's how the story goes off. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that. All right. What did you
Absolutely.
think when you watched? What pulled you in after you saw it? Like what when you read it? What was it? What was it like?
So I'll say a couple points. One, you were really enthusiastic about me reading this storyline, so I read it.
Mm,
Now, this it was a big storyline. I'll admit that it ran almost pretty much 2 years. But
yeah.
you can get this in trades, or you can go and get the issues individually, right? So what drew me in before we get into some of the facts was, as you put it, it was a switch with Spider-Man. I like the fact that they used a classic villain in a
Yes.
new perspective. So I find that a lot of the writers today are always trying to come up with the next big villain, the next big villain. And I understand that. But I think we've lost a lot of magic with the villains that have already existed before. They've gone to the wayside and they don't get enough love shone on them, right? So in the movies, I mean, we all know like Batman fights Joker. Okay, got it. Spider-Man has his rogues gallery. Flash has his rogues gallery. So to see them not do something like where it was, for example, it was Batman and Joker, then it was Batman and Harley Quinn because she came in popular because of the Batman animated series, and then
Right.
they tried to bring in another character, and I say try, which was called Punchline, which was supposed to be a social media persona person that was enamored with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but instead of bringing in Punchline, could they not? And I know you have to move forward, you have to bring in the next person, but the way they sold it, it was Punchline issue number one, and here's Punchline storyline, and then Punchline has disappeared. Okay, but Joker has not disappeared.
Right.
And we've broken down to three Jokers. So let's get back to Spider-Man. Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
has a rich rogues gallery and a rich
Yes.
cast behind him. And the fact that they took a classic villain who we've seen multiple times in the original run, in the MCU, in the cartoon, and put a fresh new spin on him made me excited. So it wasn't just Dr. Octavius, Doc Ock trying to rob a bank, steal something. This whole tale turned around, and I mean, like, okay, they body swapped. It was a Freaky Friday
Yes.
where something
Perfect example.
happens and he gets right into become his mind goes into Peter Parker's body. So he becomes Spider-Man. So it's not no more spectacular Spider-Man, it's superior Spider-Man. And then he was like, well, I've always been his villain, and he always beat me. I'm gonna show him up once. How can I beat him? If you can't beat him, join him. And
Right.
that was exactly it. And he became a better Spider Man than Peter Parker. He cursed out certain things that Peter did in his life, by not having focus. One
Mm-hmm.
part was, what do you mean Peter didn't finish? He was 2 credits away from getting his degree. What? I'm going to nerd school. But this is Doc Ock in Peter's body, and it plays
100%.
out. But you see Doctor Octopus in a different way. It made him a lot more human, not because he's just in Peter's body, but the fact that you saw his hopes and dreams, and he felt like he had a second chance at life in a
Correct.
new body, new vision, and he had a lot of he kept all his mind, but it really was, he found love, he found purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and he stops. It was more like, I'm going to become Spider-Man and ruin his name. Then I'm going to be, well, you know what? I want to show everyone I'm a better Spider-Man than Spider-Man, and he truly did for 2 years.
Correct.
And people are
Correct.
like, he seems a little different for 2 years. 2 years. Man under the mask. Uh, so that was cool because I like the classic villains of Rhino, Vulture, Electro,
Mm-hmm.
Sandman,
Blizzard.
Tarantula, who does make an appearance in the new movie. You
New
see him in the
movie.
trailer real quick,
Yeah.
but I'm talking the big ones, right? Anybody, Craven, anyone part of the Sinister Six, like
Yes.
Green Goblin, like the
Meringue.
list,
Yep.
right? The list goes on. So this I would have been nice if they would have continued more storylines along this line
Mm-hmm.
with a new spin with the classic Rogues Gallery. And I think who did it best before in my opinion, was Batman, where they made the Riddler like a private eye investigator, right? And now Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, is not trying to take over the world. He's running an illegal club, the Iceberg Lounge, and all
Yep.
illegal activities filter through him, so he gets a cut, so less risk to him. So they've evolved in their roles, and this is what I liked about Superior Spider-Man,
Mm.
right? So that's what drew me in. And it started off with some milestones. So yeah, right, like great question, and I'll say great read. So I got
Hmm.
my notes here, so to the side. So forgive me. So let's
Yeah.
just go. Superior Spider-Man did its run from 2013 to 2014, and it
Yep.
started off in issue number 700 of the Amazing Spider-Man. Right, and Dan Slott was the person that was writing that whole storyline with multiple different artists that were behind there. Right, so with art with Ryan Stigman, Humberto Ramirez, and Giuseppe Camala, Camucoli. Forgive my
Tommy Collie.
pronunciation.
Yep.
To be,
Yeah.
we know how we messed this up. You know, so that was the premise of it, and it was a dying Doctor Octopus that turned around and was able to swap minds in his consciousness. Now, when he put his mind in Peter's body, at first you think Peter Parker is dead,
Right.
but as time goes on, he starts hearing voices in his head that are Peter Parker.
So here's
Right?
an add-on to that. Here's an add-on to
Yes.
that. Because what's happening with Doc Ock at that time? Doc Ock is basically immobilized. He's basically like paralyzed. He's on life support. He
Mhm.
cannot move. He is basically just stationary. He can't do nothing with his arms. He's like withering away. He's like on the verge of like dying. Unfortunately, his life is about to expire within days, within weeks kind of scenario. So his last master plan was to basically swap, get himself a newer, fresher, younger body, and put
Yes.
his mortal enemy in his body. That
Yes.
is just diabolical right from jump. From jump. Like there's no way I'm stuck here. Always a Spider-Man keeps coming and interfering with my plans. Darn it. But you know what?
Darn it.
Guess what? If I get him in my body, I can't move. But guess what? If I get him here, he can't come after me. And I can ruin the name of Spider-Man for eternity. Big away.
We have to do it. Come on, man. So that's what I thought was really amazing with that. So that's the body swap. So you have to read the storyline. We're just gonna brush over some key
Yeah,
points
yeah,
that I
yeah.
like, right? So we've got that. So one of the things that he does as Superior Spider-Man, as I said, Peter Parker, he realized a couple of things. First of all, he's in the body. He kind of updates the costume a little bit. So the costume slowly, slightly changes. And
Mm-hmm.
then Dr. Octopus, I mean, Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, right? So let's just say Otto. And so Otto in Peter's body finds and stops a couple of criminals and punches them and then hits one really, really hard and comes to light saying, hold up, this body has all this power? You mean all the years I've fought Spider-Man, he's been holding back?
Right.
Which, when we see Peter, we know how strong Peter is, but Peter is not, he's not Venom. He's not Wolverine. He's not going to go full out in a fight unless he knows two things. One, the person can take that kind of beating, and two,
That's
the person needs that kind of beating to stop them.
by any means necessary. He's like, okay, I'm gonna have to take off the gloves at that moment. But again, it's wonderful to see. This is why I like the story because Otto is starting to pull back the layers of his enemy, of his foe, and realizing, like you said, wait, he was only two credits away from graduating, from getting his master's. Foolish mortal. Let me take care of that. Uh, Realizing again, he is, you know, pulling back on his punches and the agility and stuff like that. Otto started to realize the inside of his foe. Again, he's a great genius, and that's what I loved about it is that you're now seeing a genius, an evil genius, through the mind of Peter, because we all know that Peter Parker is brilliant. He's already he may not have the skills or the mindset like Reed Richards, but he's
Mhm.
right up there with Tony Stark.
Yeah, yeah.
He's up there. So that he's smart. He just doesn't use
Really smart.
full his full potential, and that's why you're
Uh-huh.
seeing all of the small little things that Otto is starting to just leveling up. Because that's what Otto does. He's always searching and just basically becoming the better villain, but the better man. That's what he wants. He's always been that's been his mental, his MO. So now he's in a better body. He's like, my mind with this body? Oh, we're unstoppable.
Absolutely. Unstoppable. Absolutely. Right. Because he turns around and he does things like, as I said, he gets his masters, he takes the costume, he turns around and he creates these little drones, like,
Yes.
almost like what's it,
It was like
Mr.
Spider
Fair Play
Slaves.
himself. Mr. My God. Mr. Terrific. There we go.
Oh yes. The T spears, like the T spears.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So he makes these, and then instead of Spider-Man going around patrolling the city, spheres go out and patrol the city. And then he makes an AI that interacts with all that, and then let him know, hey, this crime is happening here at this time. Boop, boop, boop. So his time is now more efficient. He just stands there and waits till they all communicate to him in his costume, and he's got a lens in his costume. He made all this. Now, here's the thing: Peter Parker is a genius, but Peter Parker, in my mind, also has ADHD. Think about it.
Wow.
Think about it. Young Peter, when he first got his powers, was focused, but the older he got, his mind seems to get distracted more and more and more. And it might not be like clinically ADHD in my opinion, but he's easily distracted. His if he's here, he's thinking about there, and if he's there, he's thinking about here. That's Peter Parker to a certain degree. This is why he doesn't finish certain things, or it's more complicated. Young Peter, as a teenager, when he first started, focused, right? Because he had his aunt who keep him focused. He was in high school. He did, he just had to say, oh man, I have to miss all these events because I got to be Spider-Man. Because he got as a grown man, oh man, I'm needed over there, but I got to be over here. And I told MJ I was going to do this as a date and so forth. So, Otto really looked at Peter's life and streamlined it. For him and MJ, he dealt with that. Him and MJ there's still that tension as Peter and MJ. And Otto turned around and said, look, I like you. As a villain, I would date you just despite Peter. But then the other part is, no, we're toxic for each other. I'm going to officially end this relationship so you can go and be free finally and live your life because I'm holding you back and vice versa. We need to cut ties. And you're like, wait a minute, did he just not, it would have been evil if he would have, slept with MJ. But it was more devastating to say, no, we're done. Peter, no, I tried a couple of dates with you. Then I changed my mind. I realized it's not beneficial. No, you need to be free. And not so much for Otto doing it, but he did it more for MJ. If you really read into it, he did it for her to have a better chance at life.
Yeah. Release her of any type of commitment, any possible commitment. Just like say, you can now go 100%.
Wow. Right. So, he was more efficient. He was more brutal. Because he didn't believe in the Peter no-kill rule. So there was a couple of times he crossed that line, Punisher style. And guess what? People didn't turn against him. It was more about out time instead of what are you doing? Right? So those are moments there. Now, Otto himself, as I said, he let MJ go. But Otto's just in Peter's body. He's now going back to school and he finds love, like true love. Someone that he connects with emotionally and mentally. And her name is Anna Maria Marconi. Marconi. Yeah, Marconi, I was going to say Macaroni. Anna Maria Marconi. And she is, a classmate just as smart as him, finishing her PhD, and he really has feelings for her. They go on dates. He treats her with respect. He's not trying to slight her in any way whatsoever. Now, if you think about Otto, where you see him, he was more of a portly gentleman, right? And I'm not making that as a slight. And he's not trying to use Peter's looks like it was in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, where he gets the Venom costume and he's walking down the street, exactly, disco dancing. No, he's just being normal, right? But he finds love in this storyline. So it's not so much that the villain's just in there and there's layers, right? Redesign the character, been more efficient as a character, realizes his powers, how much he's held back, crossed the line a couple of times. He even gets himself minions and working underneath him because every villain has to have minions, and you see how he has his own spider lair, and gets minions working on all these projects. As you know, are we doing something wrong? No, 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 no. You're just working on this project for me. Number one, like classic. Come on, everyone wants to belong to something, and then to say, "Hey, I work with Peter. I work with Spider Man." They don't know he's Peter Parker. I work with Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
So he finds love with this person, and it goes, and you're rooting for him. At one point, you're sitting there like, "Come on, Otto, you got this." And truly, and the fact that I liked is she wasn't your MJ body type, right? She wasn't a model.
Mm-hmm.
Anna Marie was a little person, but I find they that's how she was drawn. There was no jokes made about her being a little person. It
Right.
was handled with the utmost respect, regardless
Respect.
if she was little, regardless if she was extremely tall, regardless if she was obese. They wrote her as a person.
Yeah.
Physically, this is what you look like, because in the world, we're all different colors, shapes, and sizes of people, but you're still a person. And that sold me, because there was not one joke
Mm-hmm.
about her height. All right. Good on you, Dan Slott. Good
Yeah.
on you. Right. Then, of course, the ghost Peter, as I was saying before, because now little voices, boop, 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 boop. Peter, it's like, wait a minute, he's not supposed to be still around. He's supposed to be in my body that's dying. So Otto goes in Peter's body to confront
Mm-hmm.
Peter in his body.
Right.
And Peter's getting stronger and stronger, that he's that voice that you hear on the inside. So picture it, if you watch the Venom movies and you hear Venom talking to Eddie when the
Fair enough.
symbiote is like within him, so you don't
Yep.
see it. It's like, come on, Eddie, you just see him. Picture Peter almost doing something like that.
Right.
He's that ghost conscious, but he's very prominent, and he's trying, but he can't get physical control back of his body this time. And he's still got to deal with the body he's trapped in, which is totally immobile, is slowly wasting away. Well, okay. All right. So yeah, here's a couple of tidbits. But anything else before I try to jump on here, Rod?
No, I mean, again, the whole thing is that I enjoyed was how serious Otto was. Like you said, whenever he spoke to anybody, he was just basically exuding some type of Otto confidence, but to anybody else
Yes.
perceiving it, they're like saying Peter is either sounding sounding maybe a little bit extra edge, maybe a little bit more confident, maybe a little arrogance in that sense. But the more he did it, the more Otto was just being himself. People were starting to accept it and understand the the now current Peter Parker now is no nonsense. Take it, take it as it is. Don't cry about it. I just told you what you're supposed to do. Why are we second guessing? Why are you questioning me? What are you doing? Do what I ask you to do. Anyways, I'm
Right.
3/4 of the time Otto was just being blunt. I think that's really what it is. Otto was just being blunt, and it just gives a whole different perspective on Peter Parker that we know, and we've grown to know and love, and we're now seeing a different aspect of it. So again, I thought for one little way, in a sense, like you want your characters to grow. Barry says something
Yes.
along that line in that sense, like you basically this is like modernizing Spider-Man. And who knows, on the drawing board back, how many years, 2 years or 3 years before they actually made these prints, who knows if they wanted to do that for the longest time. But everybody knows Peter to be, the whimsical, funny, Joker that he is. How are you going to
Yeah.
convince that we're going to get a change, that he can now be a little bit more perceived, more serious?
Right.
I don't know who in the background came up with this wonderful idea. Excellent.
Salute.
Excellent. And that's it. So now you can start seeing it and start accepting the fact that Peter Parker now has a different type of, mindset. His MO is slightly different. He's being more solid, more professional in aspect. You're starting to see him just looking like, okay, this guy's coming in a suit, looking, dressing like, oh, you that's not joggers. Where's the jeans? Jeans. Don't you know who I am? Let's go.
Oh, this is hilarious because we were just talking about Rocket Robin Hood too. So hopefully you guys are watching that. All right. So, and you'll see why we mean by Spider-Man and Rocket Robin Hood. So, a couple of key points. We're not going to give away the ending for you, but a couple of key points. So, fun trivia thing. Did you know? Did you know? Well, who knew? The Avengers, at one point, because a lot of people crisscross in these books over the 2 years. So the Avengers
Oh
turned
yeah.
around and they suspected something was different with Spider-Man because he
Yeah.
wasn't, as Rod said, joking around. He was very blunt to the point. They perceived him as a jerk. And I don't mean the dance. So they ran tests on him to see, is something different with Peter? Because he's acting differently, he's talking differently, he's doing different actions. And Otto, with his intellect, pretty much out, out, outsmarts the scanner. Okay,
And this
here's
guy.
here's the kick in the head for me.
Hmm.
When Otto, in the body of Peter, is doing like Peter, being superior Spider-Man,
Right.
his biggest fan, who jumped on the bandwagon hard for him, Jonah Jameson. Keep in mind how big this is for his whole entire run. You know, that wall crawling menace, that web slinging menace, right? Ah! And all of a sudden, the person that hated him the most is on his side. Jonah Jameson was all over Spider-Man because he was being tough on crime and he was working more with the police than taking off when he gets there. So he earned Otto,
Respect.
exactly, in Parker's body, in
Yep.
Spider-Man's body, earned his respect. As
Yeah.
Birdman was saying, put some respect on his name, and J. Jonah Jameson did. All right. So the legacy, the character was so popular that Otto Octavius
Hmm.
eventually returned to a clone body operating as Superior Octopus later on, right? That's how it was. But I'm not giving away the ending. You got to read and catch how Dan Slott, with all the artists that worked on these books,
Hmm.
bring you in. And Otto was supposed to be evil. But then you kind of say, I sympathize with him. I see his
Right.
motivation. Well, he's not evil. He just, as DC put it, one bad day. And then he redeems himself, but he still has minions. He's doing stuff on the side. But it's not so much black and white, but it's shades of gray.
Well,
But the gray starts getting lighter and lighter, and then next thing you know, are they bringing you down the rabbit hole, or is he really coming out the rabbit hole? Right? Are we going down a path by the time you finish reading the book? Going, did I just turn evil? Like in Dungeons and Dragons, did I go from lawful good to chaotic evil? Uh, Maybe I'm neutral, or was it vice versa for the character? So that's for you all to decide when you read
definitely.
the book. Rod, what's your last whole
Listen,
synopsis? Like, why?
listen,
Tell people why they got to
listen.
go and get these books, man.
I'm gonna say this: we are accustomed to villains being a certain way, a product of their environment, a product of what they do. This now gives you an insight on the product of environment does create a person's personality, their characteristics, and stuff like that. But now you've seen that if that person is taken out, he may have the mindset of being evil, of being hard, and just being rude and arrogant, or whatever. But you put him in a different type of environment, and then you can see that the environment does create the man. Manners maketh man. That's all I'm saying.
Just
So
Kingsman me.
yeah, just saying. So all I'm saying is that this book now gives you a wonderful insight to psychology of people personalities and character traits and stuff like that you can make yourself of who you are. You could be a better person once you apply yourself. And as I was saying, this it sounds so what's the best way of saying it? It just sounds like nonchalant here, like what, the sky limit. You are who you are who you are. You are who you think you are in that regard. Right.
Sounds good. Sounds
So
good.
basically, so all I'm saying is that you can become. the better you once you put your mind to it. And this storyline shows you, and it doesn't happen right away. Like you said, over the span of 2 years, this is what we went through the storyline for 2 years of seeing Otto changing from one aspect. The dark is getting gray, is getting lighter, and we'll just leave it at that. And you'll be the judge of that at the end of that the storyline.
Absolutely. Right on. And the famous words of those great poets that we see all over the world. Salt and pepper, express yourself. Okay.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, you couldn't put it any better, Rod. I can't even top. I'm not looking to top that, and that's exactly how it is. So, what I'm trying to say with these series is, and we're starting to say with me, Rod, and Larry, go down to your LCS, your local comic book store, ask them for the Superior Spider-Man run. Be it if you get the individual issues, and if you look at individual issues, okay, 12 issues, an issue a month, that's 24 books, right? 24 books. I didn't say bucks. Or you can turn around and get the trade paperback. Get the trade paperback. You don't go down your comic book store. Get the trade paperback of this storyline of Superior Spider-Man. It might be in 2 trades or so forth like that, depending however you want to do it. Add this to your collection. The artwork is beautiful. The storyline is great, and you're going to learn. If you don't know about Spider-Man, or if you want to jump on Spider-Man and says, oh man, 700 issues prior plus all the other spin-offs and everything else, where should I start? This is a good jumping on point to read Spider-Man, to understand it, definitely with the new movie coming out. So you don't have to worry about reading history all the way, from 1960 up to now to catch everything. Superior Spider-Man does catch a lot of it with a lot 100%. Of Easter eggs here and there. And of course, use the power of the internet to fill in the blanks.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. So head down, tell them you heard about them on the iConis podcast, and even go to your local comic book store and say, hey, here's a podcast that talks about all this stuff. Maybe you guys should tune in and maybe have them reach out to us, and we'll mention them on the show. There we go. Looking for sponsorship. 100%. So, there you go. Any last words, Rod?
No, listen, enjoy the books. Enjoy the storylines. We're going to be giving you more of these type of, stories that, move us, shape us, that created us. And we hope that, inspired you and that you guys enjoy as well. So, yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for this segment. More to come.
More to come. Absolutely. So add these to your long box. And on that note, as I always say, this whole world was started by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.
Keep on.
And as Larry would say, hey, maybe one day, keep on writing, keep on drawing. Maybe one day we'll be talking about you on a podcast, or maybe someone else will be talking about you on a podcast because of the work you've done, adding to the culture. And thank you. Spider-Man, International Spider-Man.
I can't do with you.
Doing the Family Guy. Well.